Hello, YouTube internet party people. Welcome to another comic book review video. This comic was released on Wednesday, June 7th, 2017 by Boom. It's written by Cullen Bunn and drawn by Jack T. Cole. It is the Unsound #1. I think everybody's pretty familiar with Cullen Bunn's writing material out there. He's doing a lot of horror stuff lately. Pretty good at it too. Um, Jack T. Cole, I have never heard of, so I tried to look him up, and the only stuff that came up for him, in my searches were this. So maybe he's relatively new, or maybe I just don't know how to look up an artist very well. Uh, Either way, I tried to do a little bit of research on him before I did this review, and I didn't find really anything. So there we are with that. So to start off, Unsound #1. It follows a girl named Ashley. I don't remember her last name, but it's Ashley, and it's spelled all cool with an I at the end. Um, so it follows her as she's embarking on her first day uh, as a nurse, or like a medical help or something at an insane asylum, for lack of a better term. Psych ward, insane asylum, institution, whatever you call those things. That's what she's doing. Uh, so we're following her into her first day. Pretty much just drops us in right there. Uh, she arrives to work, a few minutes late. There's another nurse there who's like, hey, they keep stressing that today is a crappy day for you to start. That's said quite a few times by the first nurse she encounters, and then a few other people. So I think that was probably some kind of setup for something. It wasn't revealed later in the issue what that was for, but I assume that will play out to something later, with how many times it was mentioned. So anyway, she shows up about 10 minutes late for work. Her first day, she doesn't get too much of a grand tour. They're just kind of like, hey, all right, we need help. Let's do this. There's a locker over there to put your stuff in. You can bring a lock for it tomorrow, and let's get started. Go put your stuff away, hurry back, and let's go meet some of the patients and go over, what you're going to be doing and stuff like that. And of course she obliges and, asks to meet the doctor, and the nurse informs her, you're not going to meet the doctor today. You'll meet the doctor tomorrow if you come back. And that was kind of like an opportunity for her to be like, what do you mean if I come back? Kind of like, of course I'm going to come back. Why wouldn't I? But that's not explored either. That was just a little bit of setup as well. So you have that. Sorry, I'm not going to spoil this whole issue. Like, I just want to kind of give you guys, what's going on, because it does sort of drop you in. It's an independent title. They don't have as much like character development and stuff at the beginning as some of the bigger stuff does. So I'm just kind of going over some of that. There's not anything really revealed in this issue, in my opinion, anyways, to spoil. So it's just all kind of set up for probably issues 2 through 6, and assuming this is probably a mini anyways, probably 6 to 12 issues or something in there. I don't know how far they're planning on going with that. I didn't read anything about that, but so anyways, we follow her first day on the job. She's getting acclimated with her surroundings there, the daily going-ons and stuff like that. There was to be like a group of men, in suits that are kind of blacked out, like over off to the side, that she's like, who are these guys? And, are they inspectors or something? The other nurse is like, yeah, that's what they are. But that seems like there's obviously something going on there too, because as they as they interact with one of the patients there, you see that it's not like a normal interaction, like something very weird's going on. The art is drawn in a way where you're like, oh, okay, something's happening there. Um, so I'll stop now, telling the story of this book and go ahead and give it my review, now that we're like over the 5 minute mark. So the writing's good. Cullen Bunn is a good writer. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to write. He knows how to write horror. As far as, where we are with this series, as it stands right now, it just seems like something that's already been done before. It seems like like American Horror Story, or just anything that you've seen with like an insane asylum. Like there's always something going on. Like there's always, I don't know. I mean, of course there is, but I don't know. It just seemed like, okay, I already know what's going to happen here. Maybe I won't, and maybe we'll be surprised, and maybe that's what will make it great. But right now, it just seems like I feel like I already know what's gonna happen. What's gonna be, the wrap up of this. I feel like I know what's gonna happen within the next couple of issues, and what some of the stuff is already pointed at. And sometimes you like that kind of thing, and sometimes you don't. But with a series like this, something at Boom, something by Cullen Bunn, like that's not what I wanted. I wanted to be kind of surprised. So again, I can't make that assumption yet. Maybe it will surprise me, but I just didn't feel like it was going to. So for this single first issue, I'm gonna say right there, story development, dialogue even, I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5. So it's not the best thing ever, but it's not completely unenjoyable. Like I get what's going on. I can jump into the story and I'm okay with that. It's just not that great. There was a few books like that this week. I felt the same thing with Black Bolt #2 and Iceman. I wanted more out of those than what I got, but they were there and they were entertaining. And then something like Daredevil, where I tried to just kind of like jump into Daredevil. I haven't read Daredevil in so long, so I was like, cool, I'll check out this. I actually just read it before I reread Unsound. And I just didn't like it. Like, even though it was the beginning of a story arc, even though, you had Luke Cage in there and all of that, I don't know. I just don't like that Daredevil. But anyways, back to the Unsound. Back to Unsound, #1. So 2.5 for the story and dialogue and all of that. The art, I'm so sorry, but I really don't like this art. I think it's bad art. I saw some other stuff when I was searching Jack D. Cole, and it looked like he is amazing and can do really cool stuff, but I don't like this art. The main character and a lot of the secondary characters and side characters and stuff like that are drawn in a way where they look like they're supposed to be like a normal size or fit or slim or something, according to their heads. But then their bodies are massive and they look like very cartoony, and it just doesn't look right. It's like a weird. I'll try to show you an example there. That's our main character, Ashley, and she just doesn't look anatomically correct to me. She looks. I realize she has like a jacket on, but she just doesn't look right to me. She looks big. With a very small head. And then in other panels, she's not presented that way. The backgrounds also are very sketchy sometimes. There's things that look unfinished to me. This fan being one of them. There's some artwork either on a bus or a subway. I can't remember what it is, but there's like ads. And they just look unfinished. I just don't like it. I would say the artwork is bad. The artwork is like a 1 out of 5. Even the cover art is bad in my opinion. So overall, story and art, combined, I'm gonna give it a 2. a straight 2 out of 5, and I used half points, so we're on the lower end there. It's not terrible. It's not that I couldn't read it or couldn't look at it. I think it would be a more intriguing story with better artwork, definitely. And I also just didn't appreciate the feeling that I felt like I knew it was going to happen. Again, that could all be changed. The artwork, though, is not going to be changed. You know, they're going to continue to use this artwork, and it's just not for me. It's just not the kind of artwork that I like. So that's my review for Unsound #1, Boom Studios, Cullen, Bunn, and Jack T. Cole. Let me know if you guys read it. If you agree with me or disagree, please let me know in the comments below. Let's open up a discussion about it and have a dialogue. I'd like to know if I'm wrong about the artwork and maybe I'm looking at it wrong, or if you saw something in the story that I didn't see. So let me know. Thanks.